Guys, Michelle here from Andalery Garden. Just an update on the progress in the blue and purple garden. This is mostly what we've been up to in the garden within the past while. So things are looking very cool here. I'm very much enjoying this sense of perspective of it wide and narrowing it into the distance there. It really gives you a sense of perspective. God has blessed us with a beautiful day today. A little bit of a breeze, but it's a lovely winter's day. So this is Barleria. I know it looks just like sticks. I was ruthless. I cut them back like really hard. To be truthful, we put them in and I hadn't cut them back for about a week. I just did not get down to it, and then I thought, no, I must come and cut them back. So I cut back. I left all the cuttings just on the ground, also for the sake of having a little bit of a mulchy so they can decompose. Whatever flowers were on them, maybe the seeds will scatter within this area, but there's a lot of hope. They are sprouting out nicely. Some will make it, some won't, because I did leave it too long before cutting back, but majority of them look there's promise within most of them, so I'm quite happy about this, bearing in mind a lot of this garden, when it's things like this, they don't get much water. I might water them initially, maybe 2-3 times, and then they kind of left to their own devices. So it's very much like survival of the fittest, if I can put it that way. And we haven't really had much rain. We had a little bit of a rain the other day, but it wasn't a majorly soaking rain. So it's been a couple of months since we've really had a good rain, but they're looking promising, so I'm quite pleased. So then we've got Plectranthus. This is Plectranthus neochilus. These were all in the labyrinth previously, and there were a couple in other spots in the garden. So we cut a lot of them back because they were quite scraggly looking, and then we stuck all the pieces in, as well as just planting the original mother plant, if I can put it that way. So we've stuck in pieces everywhere that we can get the ground covered as soon as possible. That's the main thing in the garden of this size. We need to get the ground covered so that it cuts down our work, as we are not on top of weeding and that kind of maintenance thing. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation, as my mom does hound me. You need to weed, Michelle, you need to weed. You're not maintaining things, you're just creating things. And yes, that is so, but I'm also realizing I need to get things moved now before the summer heat sets in, so that they can have a chance to settle before the heat, so the roots can at least do a little bit of settling in. And so I do tend to neglect the weeding, so that I can, if I can put it this way, like get things organized and get things in their space where they're going to stay. So from this more calmer sections, the 3 vast sort of wedges, if I can put it this way. Also this Plectranthus I've weaved right around, and then there in the back is like a bigger Plectranthus that gets a darker purple flower. This gets a lighter purple flower. Let me actually take you a little bit closer. These are all indigenous to us here in South Africa. Isn't that pretty? These are very the plant itself is very smelly, if I can put it that way. Not bad smelly, like for me it reminds me of the sea. When I tramp on it, it has that smell of the seaside. I think of seaside when I smell it. So it's got quite, they call it sometimes a Vicks plant, this as well. So we've taken this Plectranthus neochilus right through the bigger Plectranthus there, just to get the ground covered between there as well, only not as densely there as what it is on this side. And then, yeah, we've got, this is a lot of little wildflowers I dug up. And then there's some scabiosa and Michaelmas daisy. So that's the scabiosa. That's actually going to be getting a flower. And that's the sort of a, you can't really see. That was just one of the little wildflowers. And then, okay, that's busy going off. But that was the other little wildflower. So I'm quite pleased with this little area. So this is more like going to be like a bit of a cottagey, more of a busier area than this year, which is more on the calmer, peaceful side. So I dug up quite a bit here just to fill up this area until there. And then I do have some poppy seeds which I want to plant there, and potentially some lace and maybe alyssum, just to bring a bit more white into this area as well, to break things a little bit. The agapanthus also have quite a few white flowers in between as well. Those grasses, that's also an indigenous grass, but I can't think what it is. That was there already, but I dug some of them up to get them to be more in a line. So yeah, some of them are falling over. I think they need a bit of a more securing in the ground, or maybe I need to resign myself to cutting them back. So I was hoping to have gotten this part done, but yeah, that didn't work out like that, as things have been a bit on the busy side. So I've left a sort of a little pathway off here, and then I do still need to get to that. This pathway is more like a service pathway, I suppose, more for me. But I mean, if somebody did want to take a more direct route to the production garden, which is through there, then you would come here. So these plectranthus they get a beautiful purple flower, a darker flower, similar to the other smaller plectranthus, but much darker. All the plectranthus have that same sort of kind of spur flower, almost like a lavender sort of effect, if I can put it that way. So if we look from this side, then you also get that lovely sense of perspective again. It's very cool, the narrow going down into that broad. It really, really, really just leads your eye down there and makes it feel even bigger than what it actually is. So I'm very pleased with this. I'm very pleased with the positioning of that, and once those leaf out and grow a little bit taller, then it'll block that there, which is exactly what I was after. So I'm very, very happy with the way this garden has turned out. And yeah, the Lord is so good to me, that I am really blessed that I can come out here to the garden and do this and get to play with this magnificence that the Lord has given us. I cannot wait to see these when they have settled in and everything is filled out and it's in flower. I can see it so clearly in my mind's eye, and then it's just to see it in its, down the line, maybe by next year this time. I'm greatly looking forward to that. So we still have a lot of work to do here, but we are weeding in the labyrinth, so soon we'll be able to dig up these creepers, which is going to help a lot, as then we can start clearing that area up. This is a Zimbabwe creeper. It gets a beautiful pink flower, so we're going to put those all in the labyrinth and treat it more as a ground cover as opposed to a climber, which it actually is. So there is many of these all over, as it's like a bit of a rampant hooligan of a plant, but the flower is very pretty, so I'll just have to stay on top of it. You can see even here how it just literally goes along and does its thing everywhere. So we've got a few more plectranthus planted over here, of the big taller purple one. This is one that I put there just to block the gap up, but yeah, we need to bring a lot more soil to make that stand upright again. So Maniki did trim her back a little bit more on these shrubs here, just to open up the area for those plectranthus. and the shrubs are looking a lot neater. He trimmed quite a bit up there as some of the branches were hanging down quite low. So if you were like somebody tall, Maniki's very tall, then it will sort of like brush against your head. So that was done, and then we've planted there. So these will grow and fill out and block the view to the dam side, which is going to be very cool from the dam side, because then we'll see the darker Plectranthus here, purple flowers, and then these bigger light Plectranthus on this side. So I'm looking forward to that down the line as well. And then just past the shrub, the Plectranthus are continued on here. And then we stopped just short of, that's a Bohemia. So I think that's going to look very cool. And then we've got a few more Plectranthus here in this area. I know these look just like sticks, but Plectranthus are super tough. You can just cut a piece off, and they make roots. They send out shoots. They don't need any much along the line of mollycoddling. They really are just super, down to even they can root with without you even having to water them. Well, that's how the ones over there along all that's growing over there was literally just pieces that were put down. So it can be a rampant hooligan. No, I mustn't say it can be. It is a rampant hooligan. So if you don't have space, you would have to be super vigilant, as there's not a case of just, okay, I'm going to chuck it in the compost, because it's like the piece just doesn't die and it just roots. So I've got 4 pieces over here, 4 Plectranthus plants over here, future Plectranthus plants, maybe I should say that. And there's another 4 behind this setup as well, so that will make like a blocking through to that side, so you don't see through to that side of the garden. When somebody is walking the path, they won't see through to this side, and then that will create a nice little alcove for this little setup. So these are chairs. They're going to have to be dollied up and make pretty and things like that. This is glass fiber that was just sitting on the tennis court with all the molds and that. So they are sad looking, but the whole thing is we're trying to use what we have. We're decluttering in the process, and things can be made to look beautiful. So they will need a bit of maybe paint, and then either I will need to put some form of cushion on them, or maybe I will put soil, and we can plant stuff that can handle being sat on. I'm just playing with ideas. Maybe another little table there for, like who's ever playing chess, maybe for cup of coffee or whatever they're drinking, and then the chess table on here. So I think that is looking very, very cool, and I'm quite happy with how things are taking shape. I know there's lots of weeds, as I'm not on top of that, and we do need to get on top of a lot of other things, but at least these big plants can settle themselves in, and then we can get down to the weeding and that kind of thing afterwards. So that's it for today's video. I want to thank you guys for watching. May the glory of our Lord shine on you each day. God bless you. Go well, and then I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.